Hello, my name is Karolyne Cesaro. For my research project, I decided to write about how superiors or managers can change their verbal aggression patterns to create a more confirming work environment for their employees.
Madlock and Kennedy Lightsey explain verbal aggression as communication that attacks another person's self-concept and is considered to be an expression of hostility because it hurts the person or persons involved. This, therefore, leads to a larger justification of why this topic is so necessary to study. Being able to effectively communicate implies that an individual has communication confidence and is becoming more and more desirable by employers. I chose this topic because not only is it personal to me, but also because superior verbal aggression patterns negatively affect many employees on a day-to-day basis in the United States. According to Roderick, violence in the workplace affects every sector and industry in the United States, and it can take on many forms. And verbal aggression is one of those forms mentioned. Also, while situations arrive within the workplace, superiors are vital in formulating ways in which to resolve issues. Specifically, for my topic on verbal aggressions, many situations include aspects such as creating positive influence, providing immediacy to those in need, and conducting negotiations. The first aspect I mentioned is how superiors can create positive influence for their subordinates. The main goal the superior should have while creating positive influence is to show meaningful leadership skills that positively influence their subordinates. This may come in different forms, such as creating work-appropriate humor in the workplace, or perhaps creating goal-based incentives. Now that we know the goal of creating positive influence, it is important to understand the factors that impact positive influence within the workplace. The first factor is superior temperament. When looking at temperament alone, this would be considered a nonverbal form of communication. However, superior temperament can affect how they speak to their employees. Overall, temperament affects how well superiors can effectively begin, maintain, and end a conversation. Temperament may also be affected by the superior's own personal issues, and the goal should be to avoid being aggressive simply because they have issues of their own. Other factors affecting influence include the subordinates having diversities such as age, gender, race, religious views, technological advances, and more. Working in an environment where the subordinates' opinions are not taken into consideration simply because of their diversity can lead to a deterioration of perceived satisfaction while working within the organization. The next aspect that impacts subordinate happiness within the workplace is providing immediacy. Basically, providing immediacy means a superior does everything in their power to show they care about their employee and their success within the workplace, and oftentimes also outside of the workplace. This includes providing subordinate empowerment and motivation to therefore create this job satisfaction. If the superior provides immediacy by allowing the subordinate to have a voice or feel important, this may be all it takes to create a more confirming work environment. Superior verbal aggressions may impact immediacy with their employees, as these aggressions may lead to a lessened perception of the superior's character, competence, credibility, and more. Low trust and low superior satisfaction definitely makes the workplace less confirming for the subordinate. Additionally, emotions within the workplace may affect immediacy. Balancing ways to share both positive and negative emotions is necessary for the superior to keep better relationships with their subordinates and therefore provide a more positive and productive work environment. With emotion comes the aspect of politeness within the workplace. Morand mentions that within a workplace context to create immediacy, politeness is explained as phrasing things in such a way as to take into consideration the feeling of others. Utilizing the skill of politeness is likely to lead to a more confirming work environment. The last verbal aggression aspect I wrote about that contributes to a more confirming work environment for subordinates is the superior ability to negotiate well. Being able to effectively negotiate with a subordinate is often considered the most difficult form of communication within the workplace. This is why many organizations provide seminars, workshops, and more for all employees to learn how to better negotiate. Bolin explains that the goal of workplace negotiation or mediation is to seek and resolve disagreement over work conditions, conflicts between employees, the reintegration of employees after a leave of absence, and disagreements about an employee's termination. For negotiation, the biggest factor that most impacts verbal aggressive behaviors during the workplace is perceived power of the superior. This is vital because if the superior has a high sense of perceived power, it is likely that he or she has no interest in mutual gain. If the superior only cares about personal gain, this can lead to a diminished relationship and cause unnecessary tension. Verbal anger within a negotiation may also lead to the subordinate feeling interpersonal hostility, disrespect, and a feeling as though they are being mistreated. Another major verbal aggression factor affecting the workplace is the lack of superior knowledge in the skill of negotiation. Paying attention to all interests rather than sticking to a hard set position is the first step at becoming a better negotiator. A superior judging or raising their voices at a subordinate may lead to unintended stress on the relationship. Instead, listening and finding mutual gain is the best way to properly settle a negotiation. After conducting research, my hypothesis for my topic of this paper is a superior without a training and development course may not have a realization that he or she is a main cause of subordinate dissatisfaction and underproductivity. The research question I have chosen is, does a training and development course for superiors prove to aid in subordinate satisfaction and a more confirming and productive work environment? The research method that will be used to answer research question 1 is conducting a training and development course for superiors. A training and development course is a process in which employees, in this case superiors, come together in a group to learn about a specific topic. The goal of my hour-long training and development course will allow for a deeper insight on supervisory actions when it comes to influence, immediacy, and negotiations with their subordinates within the workplace. Participants will include 20 to 30 supervisors at Arizona State University who have all worked in the supervisory role for at least 5 or more years. The goal will be to find participants with a willingness to learn how to be better leaders, as well as people who care about taking their supervisory role seriously within the workplace. Prior to the training, emails will be sent out to the participants with an attachment explaining the overall goals of the training and an outline of the topics being discussed. I will also create a script for what I will say during the training and study that script before the training occurs. The training will then be conducted over Skype for convenience for all involved in the training. Creating credibility for myself is the first step I will take to ensure the participants understand why they are involved in this course. We will then discuss all topics mentioned in this video and allow for questions and comments between each section. After the course is complete, the participants will have a list of questions to answer, explaining if they have a better understanding of each topic discussed. This will be done through having a Likert scale for each question, and also allow for questions, comments, and concerns for each topic discussed. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was insightful and induced your own personal thoughts about communication and verbal aggressions within the workplace. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or to connect with me on LinkedIn.